Hello everyone, welcome to the Innsbruck World Cup. We're here at the Black Diamond headquarters and they've invited us to do 3 days of live streams. So usually I'm used to cuts and bits and pieces and I get to do this over and over again, but this is one take only. And behind the camera, I've got my colleagues Seb and Flo who are also chatting with you guys. So any questions that you'll have for our guests, feel free to ask them. Hopefully they'll be able to answer them. And speaking of guests, I've got here Julia, Seneida, and Chae-hyun Seo. If you don't know who they are, well, keep watching. And you probably already saw this on our social media channels. If you don't follow us or Black Diamond, it's that time of year to, click follow. And yeah, we are here at the Innsbruck World Cup. It's like the busiest week in the year of climbing. I mean, there's literally everything going on. Well, at different times. It started off with speed climbing and then the event went into paraclimbing and now we're in between the whole bouldering sessions. Yesterday was the women's final and today there's the men's final at 7:30, I believe. And then we've got a weekend ahead of lead. So there's a lot of organizing to do and there is a person that actually puts together this whole event or helps put together this whole event. So I'd like to welcome in Julia Pinggera. Pinggera. Wait, oh. Hello. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I know you're very busy because you help organize the event. For who doesn't know you, just a quick introduction. What do you do here at the event and who are you essentially?
So my name is Julia Pinggera. I work for Austria Climbing as an event manager. So I'm in charge of the whole national season and also some smaller international events like European Cups. And I'm the head of the organizing committee for the World Cup here in Innsbruck.
You sound busy, but I checked out your Instagram and I saw you're also a competitor or former competitor. You're definitely a climber. Can you tell us a bit about your past in competition climbing and when did you actually start climbing?
I think I started climbing when I was around 10 and I started doing competitions when I was 13 or 14. I was part of the national team until 2019. I mainly did bouldering, so some Boulder World Cups, maybe some semi-finals. So I wasn't the best competitor ever, but yeah, I had my fair share of competition climbing. And right after I stopped competing, I got to work for the federation and yeah, it's a big blessing to make your hobby your work and I love doing that.
I agree. And also I think you're being very modest because I saw you on like the podium with Jessica Pilz and Anna Stor. So, I mean...
Yeah, okay. At national competitions, I didn't suck. I mean, I was an okay climber.
You're in good company there. All right. So, what did you think about the Boulder round last night? Were you able to watch a bit of the finals?
Yes, I did. In fact, as soon as the competition starts, for me, of course, I'm super nervous, but as soon as everything is running and under control, I get to watch a little bit and meet some people that are also important for the event, some of our stakeholders. And I also got to see most of the boulders yesterday, and I was super impressed, especially by Janja, obviously, but yeah, she's the best climber for me anyway. So I was definitely impressed by the younger ones, by Annie and by Jennifer. Super impressive to climb on the podium.
Yeah, so, yeah, I loved it because it's like, oh, the first time. Well, Annie we saw in some finals, but for Jenny it was the first time. It was like, oh, what can she actually do? Mm-hmm. And then to get silver medal. And for you, as again a former competitor, what is your favorite boulder to see? Like I know, like seeing Janja climb, it's like, oh, is she gonna flash it or not? And last night she didn't flash all the boulders. Yeah, just for you, what's your favorite boulder to watch play out?
I actually like watching all the boulders. Like yesterday, I have to say I liked the last final boulder the most, but just because it was super interesting to still see who ends up on which podium position. And also interesting to see Janja struggle a little bit. She had to really fight to get the top, and also the last move was hard, and I think she was really relieved topping out. And that's what also was really nice for me to see someone that has won so many competitions still be so emotional. And yeah, she also told me afterwards that, that she really likes the crowd here and that she, really had an emotional moment topping out this boulder. And that's, of course, great feedback for me as well.
Yeah, I gotta say it's my first time in Innsbruck as well. So, and it was the first time I was like in the crowd watching the comp and stuff, and it was a really special moment. And you could really see it in her face how emotional that moment was. So like hard, tough, interesting, intricate boulders. So you mentioned a bit about your job here. When does the whole preparation for this event even start? Like a year ago, 3 years ago? Like when does it all start kicking off for you?
So basically, when this World Cup is over, we're already preparing for next year.
Right.
So that means some of our tasks really start 1 year before the event, but the really intense phase of organizing starts probably like 4 months before. We're a rather small team, but yeah, we get a lot of work in those last months and weeks before the event, and yeah. It's an all-year job somehow, but of course, like 12 months before, there's not too many tasks to do. And then, yeah, especially the last month, the last weeks are really, really stressful.
Are you currently like making notes for this year? We should do that or things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. We have one folder where we put our things in that we want to change for next year, and sometimes it's really small things. Like we're really picky about ourselves. We're really critical. So it's till the smallest detail we write everything down and want to make things better next year.
And what's your biggest worry during an event like this? Because you said like until everything starts, I'm a bit worried. But like, what's your biggest worry during this event?
Actually, my biggest worry is the weather. Like having an outdoor event, it's always a little bit scary. Today we're gonna be fine, I think, and tomorrow as well. But Sunday might be tricky, so that's what I'm also worried about, to have like a thunderstorm or something really bad coming up. But yeah, for the rest, I don't know. Even though I know everything is going right and we're well prepared, I'm just nervous until the first climber is on stage. I think our work is not done. I mean, it's not done until the last climber leaves the stage. But yeah, my preparation goes so far as to the first climber going on stage, and that has to be perfect in my eyes. It has to be planned to the second. So yeah.
And is there a contingency plan, for example, if it does rain during the finals on Sunday?
Not really. I don't really want to talk about it. I mean, there are always some plans that also the officials have in mind. Like 2 days ago, we had a cut in the men's boulder qualies because of the rain. And there's always talks going on about what happens if we can't restart and if we have to reschedule and things like that. But yeah, I think it's always a moment's decision. I mean, there's several plans that are laying out, but then it always depends on the situation.
Yeah, and also it must be so difficult. Well, obviously you cannot control the weather, but also you do want, as the organizers, for the conditions to be fair for everybody. And that's the worst if, I don't know, half the boulder competition is underneath the sun and then half is in the shade. Like that does make a big difference.
Yeah, that's correct. That's why we also try to have lead finals and semifinals rather late, so that the sun is already in the shade, and yeah, having fair conditions is one of the most important things for us, of course.
And any fun facts about the event that we wouldn't know from watching it back home?
Not really.
Like, what's a fun fact?
It's not that fun for me. No, it actually is. But no, I don't think there's a fun fact coming to my mind. Okay. Maybe I can tell you one later.
Think about it. I've got a couple of like rapid fire questions. And I'm also loving these Black Diamond cue cards. Like we never had cue cards, so this is a treat. So, I don't know if you'll know all the answers to this, but hopefully. How expensive is the lead route? Just like one lead route, like in terms of holds.
I have no idea.
Okay. Any guesses?
Really have no idea. Like maybe 15,000 euros.
Oh, okay. I thought more, honestly.
You thought more? I'm not sure. I mean,
like half a car.
Yeah. Nice car. I mean, I know what our whole holds are worth somehow, like roughly. And so I just thought it might be, maybe it's 20,000.
In total?
No, the one route.
Okay. And in total for this event, how many holds did you like order?
I think it's a little over 100,000.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. A lot of nice cars, or one really nice car. How many volunteers are there?
We have a little over 100 volunteers, and then a lot of like temporary staff and officials. So in total, it's about 150 people really working here those 7 days.
Actually, for next year, I guess, can you explain to us how you can get into being a volunteer, or who is that position even for?
We have like volunteer sign up page on our website. We always start that around Christmas, so 6 months before the event. This year we had, I think, about 200 people signing up, so we even had to choose between the volunteers, which was rather hard. But
how do you choose? It's like, are you a climber?
No, it's basically who has the most time. So
Okay.
if someone can be here for like 4 days, it's better for us, of course, because we can tell them once what their job is gonna be, and then it runs for the next 4 days.
Okay.
And yeah, we're happy to welcome everyone that wants to join us to see something about what happens backstage and also front of house and whatever. So yeah, we're really happy to welcome everyone that just wants to join. It doesn't have to be a climber, but you should be interested in the event somehow, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'm just gonna ask back there if there are any questions right now for Julia, or any questions in general. Yes, no, maybe. Signs are going up in the air, hopefully.
There was one question.
There is one question.
From Adrian Sands, who says Neox or Grigri.
Do you have an opinion on this? I mean, we're at the Black Diamond headquarters, guys. At least be a bit on theme. It's like ATC or the pilot.
I'd say the pilot.
The pilot,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, because I do always drop an ATC. So like every year I drop one. So just in the amount of money that I have to spend on ATCs, I'd pick the pilot. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Definitely.
Thanks for the question. Kind of. I mean,
great question. I didn't answer it, but yeah. Pilot.
No, Grigri or Neox?
Grigri.
Grigri. Have you tried the Neox yet?
No.
Okay.
That's why it was an easy answer.
Okay. You're loyal. You're loyal to the Grigri. It's always been with you. Okay.
Sure.
But the pilot is really good. Right. If there are more questions, yeah. Ask for more questions. I'm getting a cue card with that. So keep them coming. I've got this or that question, so kind of a rapid fire round. Bouldering or sport climbing?
Bouldering.
Really?
Yeah, for me personally, yes.
Okay, but for fun?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think it's not fun?
Well, I have really weak ankles. So.
Yeah, okay. I have weak knees, so it actually isn't that good for me either. But endurance is it's not my thing.
No? Okay. Grit or granite?
Granite.
Sparkly water, still water?
Still water.
Okay. Finger strength or core strength?
Core strength.
This was for Jacopo, but paragliding or climbing?
Climbing. But I don't know anything about paragliding. Jacopo probably said paragliding, right?
He didn't answer.
Oh.
Oh, but that's for tomorrow's show. Spoiler. I'm getting a question card, but I'll finish these questions. Slabs or overhangs?
Overhangs for sure.
Yeah. Route setting or photography?
Photography.
And then we've got a question, but then I've got other questions as well. Okay, cue me the question, Flo.
So the question is from Sassy Since Birth.
Okay.
Where do we go to see schedules of upcoming events / live streams?
Well, there's a lot of information on our website, climbingworldcup.com, and also on the IFSC website in their calendar, the info sheet. So you can find everything there that you need to find. And yeah, about live streaming, all our semifinals and finals are on national TV, but there's also a YouTube live stream from the IFSC that works outside of Europe, and then the Eurosport, of course.
And if you are at home watching the World Cup, don't miss the Innsbruck one, because the production value around it is really good. As in, like, there's like good camera angles. They actually do the split screen thing, so don't miss it. And yeah, maybe also on Instagram. Is it Austria Climbing?
Yeah, we do all our promotion for the World Cup on the Austria Climbing channel. So there's also all the information that people need.
And I'm sure Flo or Seb can put this up on screen. Winky face, even though they don't like my winky face in this case. Okay, who's your climbing hero?
Jakob Schubert.
Yeah. Yeah. He's all right. Where's the best place to climb in the world? Okay.
I have to say around Innsbruck, of course.
All right. Yeah. Are you from Innsbruck?
Yes, I am.
I should have probably asked you that at the start. Yeah.
Born and raised.
And then do you have any summer projects?
Summer project, relax.
Okay.
Like, that's my main goal.
Okay. Well, after this whole thing, I wish you that. Send the relaxation. Yeah. And I guess this is it for us. I think you're meant to go. You told me you're busy.
I have some things to do.
You have some things to do. Okay. The finals is today at
Finals will start at 7:30 today. So yeah, don't miss
7:30.
it. Be there or watch it live. So we're looking forward to a big crowd again, like yesterday. Hopefully.
All right.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
We've got a little clip before our next guests. So play it, please.
Precision with those feet is going to be very important through this.
I hope you enjoyed that teaser. I enjoyed the movie because I already watched it. The movie is actually going to be out on July the 16th. I hope that's correct. And it will be on the Black Diamond channel. So again, here on YouTube, click subscribe. It's free. You'll enjoy the videos because they really put out high quality videos. So without further ado, our next climber is Seneida. She's a paraclimber, and well, you also saw her probably on the podium the other night. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, that one. That is your microphone. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
If you can hold the microphone there, it's perfect.
Oh, wonderful.
So, congratulations for your win the other night.
Yeah, very exciting to win here in Innsbruck because the crowd is just so energetic that you walk out there and it feels like you're on a big stage, which for paraclimbing this is the event to go to.
And also big news from these days that paraclimbing is at the Olympics.
Yes, so everyone had the buzz coming into this competition, and it was just after the day after finals that the news officially came out that paraclimbing is going to join the Paralympics in 2028. So lots of news. The IFSC did their official announcement yesterday, and we've got a very interesting 4 years to look forward to.
Indeed, because it's going to be in LA 2028.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so for who doesn't know that much about you and they've seen now the little clip, what can you tell us about yourself? And well, why did you want to film that movie, and what topics did you want to talk about during that movie?
Yeah, so I'm a blind climber. I was born with all of my sight, and then around the age of 17, my vision started to slowly degrade. So I actually have perfect clarity in the center of my vision, and the way my vision presents is that I have a very tiny cone. It's like you're looking through a toilet paper roll, and it makes the rest of the world kind of disappear for me. And it's been interesting because actually right around the time I started to lose my vision was about the time I discovered climbing. So these two things have kind of always grown or been intertwined as part of my identity. As on-site, it was a really interesting project. I guess kind of because I was born and lived the first 17 years of my life as a normal sighted, able-bodied person. When I first started to lose my vision, it felt like a really internal kind of turmoil, and I didn't really let other people know about it. So for a long time when I was out climbing or out with friends, as I was learning to climb, I didn't let them know about my vision. And it was just around 2 years ago that I started to open up a little bit about it more, because I went to the Adaptive Climbers Festival, which happens every year in the Red River Gorge in October, for the first time. And that was actually the first time I had met any other paraclimbers. The entire time I was learning to climb, I was just around other able-bodied folks. And to be around other super stoked climbers from all sorts of backgrounds and ability levels was really cool. And that was, the first time I met and really talked with another blind climber, and being around other people like me who had come from similar, somewhat traumatic experiences, but also just internal conflict and then eventually growth and acceptance. It helped me really feel comfortable with opening up to everyone around me that I am a blind person and I do experience the world just a little differently than everyone else. And it was just after the Adaptive Climbers Festival that I was like politely peer pressured into joining the competition scene.
So this was like quite a turning point
Yes,
in your climbing, I guess.
Yeah, it was completely a turning point. Like at this stage, like I was like, oh, no one I worked with and no one I had kind of gone to school with really knew that I had been going through this whole time. And I suddenly just slowly opened up a little bit more.
Right.
And it was actually when I came back from winning my first national competition that I went back to an office full of people saying like, what the heck? What, like, you didn't tell us about this. So it was definitely kind of a coming out of sorts.
Okay.
To like open up and show people that, yeah, I am a blind person and I would just like to climb rocks.
And which sport is it a sport class? Which sport class do you compete in?
I climb in B2. So
What does that mean?
So for those of you who aren't super familiar with the paraclimbing sport class system, there are different categories. So there's the blind category, there's the range and power category, there's the upper amputee and the lower amputee, and then there's a seated category. And the numbers associated with like B1, B2, B3 indicate the severity of impairment. So B1 is totally blind, and I compete in B2, which is severely impaired.
All right. And during the climbs, you also have a person that helps you out, that helps you through the climb. So earlier, I actually met somebody to help you out here at the Innsbruck World Cup. But can you just tell me a little bit about that dynamic and that relationship you have with your caller?
Yeah, it's definitely one based in trust. And it's also something that I myself am new to. So before joining the competition scene, I had never used a sight guide while climbing. I always just kind of used my very clumsy and just slow scanning method of trying to find the holds that I needed on the wall. And that took a lot of time and it was really slow, but it made me feel at least like really self-reliant. And when it comes to competition climbing, you only have 6 minutes on the wall.
Right, you gotta be efficient.
So you gotta get going.
Yeah.
So the person who I usually rely on in competition as my sight guide is my fiance, Nate Gamble, and he and I have been climbing together for 7 years pretty much. So he is always already aware about the way I like to climb, and he also has a background as a route setter because in addition to being able to communicate the route, you also need to be able to read the route really well.
Yeah.
And so I think a route setter makes for the secret weapon that we have between us, because he is really good at using the 6 minute like preview period to come up with a perfect map of the route in his brain, and then thinks about, okay, how would I want to climb it? And down on the ground, he and I are wearing a set of Bluetooth, like two-way radio headsets. And so he talks to me and provides information about like, okay, up and to the right or up and to the left, you've got a crimp. You're going to want to approach it from the left side and step through. And that's very particular to each blind person because blindness presents itself in so many different ways. I have a very small cone of vision that is almost like a little periscope. But that's not how other people in my category see. Other people just have really poor contrast, or they might not have color vision, or they might have maybe like a dead spot in the center of their vision. And so everyone's caller interacts with their climber in a different way.
And do you get to talk back, like, where is the actual hold? Like, say he gets it like slightly wrong, and you're like, no, actually, where is it?
I'm not very good at behaving. A lot of times he'll tell me where I should go, and I go a little rogue sometimes because I think I know better. But like, yeah, ideally he talks.
If you can lift your microphone up a bit.
Yeah.
So they won't miss any words.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. So if he tells me where I should go and I disagree and I think like, okay, I'm about to like cross through with my left instead, that helps him anticipate, okay, well, if she's doing something differently, I should call the next couple moves a little differently as well.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention that you actually work for Black Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got here, who's going to join us here on the couch, somebody from the Black Diamond office in Europe. But would you like to introduce her and tell her why she's coming up here on the stage with us?
Yeah, so this has actually been a really cool introduction to Innsbruck. Nate was not able to make it to this competition, and I was a little in need of a sight guide in order to compete. And I reached out to the European office and said, hey, who's your best beta sprayer? And Angelina stepped up to the plate. And she was able to meet with me on Saturday. We had never met before, and all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then qualies on Monday. We practiced together, and that set us up really well to just crush it in finals.
So, Antonina, when she first reached out to you, or at Black Diamond, they reached out to you saying like, oh, Seneida needs a caller. What did you say to that?
Our marketing manager wrote a message in Teams, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I wrote a mail to Seneida, and some days later I got the confirmation to say that I'm going to be her caller here in Innsbruck. And I was very excited. I watched some videos, and I also read a lot of articles, but I still didn't know what to expect.
So you've never done it before?
No, I've never done it before.
Right.
The most beta spraying I've done is like climbing with my friends.
Yeah.
But I've never called someone before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'm happy to hear that in this case, being a beta sprayer, it's actually beneficial and a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And tell me about the experience of joining her here at the World Cup, because I mean, you did pretty well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a good
Nate
job.
gonna get replaced here? Or?
Well, I think so. The callers aren't typically funded, so it is expensive for us to go to this comp as a pair, and that was initially one of the reasons why we weren't going to come. But you know, I don't know if I can just fly on over and say, Angelina, you want to team up again?
My answer will be yes.
There we go.
Now I have a little bit of experience.
Oh, that's cute.
It was interesting. It was hard at first. I think the hardest part was to call at the same speed that Seneida is climbing, because sometimes she's very fast, and then sometimes she's just looking for the hold that I was just telling her. And then I always have to be maybe 1.5, 2 movements before her.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest part to learn, actually, not how the holds look like or where the next one is, just the speed to call was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult from her perspective additionally, because sometimes I'm able to kind of get ahead of her. Like I might just already be looking in the right direction and happen to spy the hold that I need to go to. And other times it's right in front of my nose and my body might be blocking the wall. And she's like trying to give me the information. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. And it is very hard sometimes when you're looking through a tiny little cone to find the exact thing that you need. So I think sometimes I'm flowing and sometimes I just...
Where's the next one? Tell me.
Yeah. So she did a really good job of adapting to that movement and that just kind of like variety of speeds.
Thank you. You were a very good coach.
I'd never taught anyone how to like be a sight guide before, actually, because Nate just stepped up and was like really natural at it from the start. And so I was just really glad that Angelina was so ready for a challenge and was just so adaptable and ready to take the feedback that I had, because I didn't really have a good strategy to teach her otherwise.
And we actually have a question from the audience for you guys. Do you have it, Flo?
Yes, we got it. So we got a question from Arnaud Terribas. What aspect of training do you think you benefit the most? And physique or technique?
That's my boyfriend. Ciao.
Oh boy. So second answer first, definitely technique. Because when you're a blind climber, you need a lot of time and all the technique that you can use to buy yourself more time on the wall to find the holds that you need, the better. So in response to that, additionally, I'd say endurance is the thing that I train the most consistently, but what I need to practice more is a little bit of power.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, good question, boyfriend. And actually, speaking about endurance, you also climb a bit outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
Or a lot outdoors.
Yeah, so I actually learned to climb outdoors.
All right, okay.
And it was only recently, since moving to Salt Lake and joining the paraclimbing team, that I kind of had to start to pull on plastic. So yeah, I actually grew up in Wisconsin in the United States, a otherwise relatively flat place that has a really wonderful quartzite crag that's all traditional, so no sport. So I actually came into climbing placing gear. And then since then, I got into sport more, and climbing outside has always been where I felt home. And since moving to Salt Lake City, I mean, the gyms are pretty great, but also the trad climbing and the crack climbing is phenomenal. And crack climbing is actually something that is really conducive for blind climbers, because whereas if you're looking for a hold on the wall, I mean, you have any number of small dots that could work, but if you're following kind of like a clear line, you can just feel where you need to go. You don't need to look or use your sight at all. So
you know what piece to place because you feel how many fingers, or if your arm is stuck in there.
Exactly. So I actually have a little bit more trouble with sport because it's quite hard for me to find, especially if the draws aren't already up on the wall, it's quite hard for me to find where the bolts are.
I mean, it's difficult for me, and I mean, I need contacts, but I was just wondering about that. Like, how do you actually manage the pump, the fear also of like not finding the bolt maybe, or say you felt like you're already meters above the last bolt. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So I think it just comes with practice and with patience. I think something that holds back me as a blind climber is my trust in my ability to see. So sometimes, like, okay, I mostly do just walk up to things and climb them. I'm not much of a project climber, but I'm always worried about, okay, if I get to a certain point, I don't know what to do next, and it must be right in front of me. What do I do? And a lot of times, like I said, I try not to commit to things until I'm certain that it's the right direction, so I don't have to backtrack at all. And then endurance, really, to just have the finger strength and the patience to wait out until I can find a clip. I have not a fun story, but a story from being here in Switzerland last year and climbing and being at a bolt. I missed the last one, so I climbed past it and was like, okay, I see the next one, so it's not that far ahead. So I did just one move up, and it was maybe like here, just above my head, and I stepped up, and it disappeared, and it was gone. I couldn't find it for the life of me, so I was really like waiting, breathing, and it was a good position, but it could only be there forever, so you just have to wait and wait and wait, because if you panic, that's the worst thing that you can do.
Definitely. I don't want to keep you here too long, especially you, Angelina, but we have to mention that Seneida is also a soft good developer here at Black Diamond.
Yes.
And we actually have a product here that you've developed, and it's in its 3D physical shape.
Yeah.
Can we just get the crash pad real quick and tell me a little bit about your job? We're also being hurried here, apparently.
Okay.
So yes, I will ask the secret question as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
can you just talk to me quickly about this crash pad and why you developed it and what's the concept behind it?
Yeah. So I'm a soft goods developer here at Black Diamond. That means I help work with the product teams to bring the ideas that the designers have to life and to be a thing here in a store. So this is something from our S24 bouldering collection. This is one of the first products I worked on that's actually out. And it's the erratic crash pad.
There we go.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
It is a lightweight alpine crash pad for bouldering, either in like higher altitude or longer approach areas. So we found the most comfortable landing foam for the least weight, and we put it in a recycled waterproof material that's also got a Dyneema ripstop. So even if you put it in water and it like gets a little like it soaks up a little water, ideally it shouldn't, because this is TPU coated, so same material that's used in rafts. for like whitewater rafting.
So if you're like bouldering, there's like snow around and you need to get off the hill quickly, you can
Yeah.
just use it as a sledge as well.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
for certain.
Have you tested it like that?
I haven't, but our field testers put our products through a lot of
Okay.
wear, so I'm wondering if maybe one of them did.
All right. And then I saw the launch video of this crash pad, so I know there's like a pocket for.
Yes,
We
for
got beer, but I guess a water bottle
yeah, just right there.
down there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's a pocket. Yes, that's in. Okay.
Yeah, because when you're doing a longer approach, you want to be able to actually like reach your water and access it. So we tried to think of all the things that you would need for a long approach.
I've got one last question for you. It's really random. Like, I don't know what you're gonna get. You just pick a question out of this chalk bag.
Okay.
So,
Fun fact, I also worked on that chalk bag.
which is part of the Olympic collection, right?
Yes.
This is a fun fact.
Yeah.
It's magnetic and well done. I'd say I might want to steal it, but it's actually the giveaway of today. But you go for the question. Oh, there's one more to open.
All right. What's your favorite friend? Well, we don't make a 3.5 anymore. Right now, it's a 0.4. I've been doing some like thin finger stuff. Well, not that thin, but a 0.4 has been my go-to recently.
Because your fingers are 0.4. My fingers are 0.3, so like, yeah, the blue one, the little blue one is my favorite friend. And the other question is, what's my favorite friend, not who.
Oh,
That's a bit mean.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. Last time I asked it, somebody was just shouted a random name. I was like, I mean the Camelot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it for us.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
And for anybody that will team collection clip, yes, it's coming up. For anybody that will like to see Seneida's movie, is coming out in 2 weeks. So again, subscribe and all of that.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So before our next athlete that's gonna come up, we've got a little clip of the Black Diamond Olympic collection. Yes, my phone is vibrating underneath where I'm sitting because I did not put it on flight mode. So roll the clip, please. Now we have a live chat going on, so you can ask us any questions, and if you have any questions for a special guest, feel free to, well, type them and send them, and Flo, who's behind the computer, will read them out. He's making air signs. Our next guest is already an Olympian. She's also going to the next Olympics. She's an incredibly good climber. It's a bit difficult not to fangirl around her, so I'm a bit nervous for this interview, to be honest. But here with us, we have Chae-hyun Seo from South Korea. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good.
So you're just coming from the Budapest OQS. How are you feeling after that?
I was super tired because Budapest was like 4 days in a row. I climbed lead and also bouldering. So yeah, I felt super tired, but now I'm okay.
And I gotta say, well, massive congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, it will be exciting to see you in Paris, your second Olympics. I gotta say, let's take it a step back for who doesn't know you. Can you just tell us when you started climbing?
I started climbing when I was 6, and it was 2009. And I just tried to having fun on the wall while my parents are climbing. And yeah, I just swing in a rope and that made me climbing for long.
So your parents are climbers.
Yeah.
So they got you into it, and you would used to go with them to the gym.
Yeah, and my father is also now our head coach.
Of the Korean
Yeah.
team. All right. Okay. Well, how is it working with your dad?
I feel great because he's my only teacher from I started climbing. So yeah, I feel great.
Yeah, I gotta say, you had a really good teacher. For who doesn't know that much about Chae-hyun, I think you came into the lead senior scene in 2019 with like a win in Chamonix.
Yeah.
Can you quickly take me back there and tell me a bit about that first win and that first season? Because again, you were super young.
From then, I even cannot imagine that I'm in the semifinals. So I just want to having fun and climb using all of my energy. But it went pretty well. And first World Cup, I did second place after Yanya.
Mhm.
And the second one, I did first place. But I cannot believe that.
Yeah, I remember that was like the first year I really got into climbing, and I was like, watching like all of the World Cups, and it was super impressive to see. And yeah, I guess so. You started climbing with your parents, and then when did you decide that you were gonna do this professionally?
And my first climbing competition, I was elementary school student, and I did the lowest ranker,
Okay.
but I felt pretty fun on the wall, and I want to compete more. So I tried, and yeah, so I did it from now.
I gotta say also as a lead climber, like it shows that you're a fighter.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, from like that lower spot and
Yeah.
now at World Cups and at the Olympics. And yeah, how did it go during the Budapest OQS? Because it was like that last chance to qualify for the Olympics. Did you feel any pressure going into that competition?
I was quite okay because I did well in Shanghai. So I felt pretty good, and I just want to top all the routes while I climbing and just having fun with other athletes. So it was great to experience.
We've got a question from the audience.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. We've got a question from Graham Witch. I guess like sandwich, but with Graham. How do athletes train mentally, locking in, dealing with the crowd, etc.?
Locking in, I think it means.
No, being in focus. I
Ah,
guess.
okay, yeah. Or in your bob. Okay, yes.
I don't train that much for mentally, especially because I enjoy the crowd. I like to climb in front of the loud crowd, so yeah, I love it.
Does it get
always.
you like
Yeah.
all hyped up? Oh, awesome. We've got another question from the audience.
We've got lots of questions.
Okay.
So Arnaud Teribas, we've had him.
Yes.
Um,
He usually has good questions.
Okay, his question is, what are her projects on rock after Olympics?
No, that was one of my questions already. Doesn't count. That's.
Okay, sorry Arnaud.
I mean, I'll ask it.
Kira Mujes, how did she work from bouldering? How did she work on her bouldering become as good as her lead?
I focused for more physical power, and I trained a lot of weight training like that.
So you put on some muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like I myself am a lead climber, and well, I don't have to compete, so and during I don't have to do any combined competitions. So yeah, anytime I know I have to do like a boulder move on a route, I'm like, damn it. Just like we got more questions.
Yes, Matteo Becci says, does she like climbing on rock? Does she have any projects outside?
I'm keeping yes. Okay. Well, we got rock afterwards because I just wanna get the competition side done, and then talk about in my opinion, the fun stuff. But, okay, so just to get back to the OQS, are you kind of seeing? Did you see those competitions as preparation for the Olympics?
Yes, I think so because we need much stamina than Olympics. So I think it was like training for Olympics, and we could experience the style of boulders and lead. So I think it was great.
And you have been training with Jane Kim. How was it? How has it been training with her, going to the competitions with her? And essentially, what I'm, I guess, asking is like, what did you learn from her?
I was like, she was like role model from I started climbing, and she is really strong from mentally, and also she always trained hard for her weaknesses, so I always learning from her.
All right. And the last question about like climbing and the Olympics. It's your second time that you're gonna be at the Olympics. The first there was speed, and now it has its own event. Yeah. But are you going in with a certain strategy?
My only strategy is just go climbing and try hard and just having fun while climbing.
All right, solid. And now it's time to talk about outdoor rock climbing for anybody who has questions. No, so on Wednesday, we do the Wednesday news show. So every week we gather like the news from the climbing world. And I'll forever remember when you did like La Rambla in 4 or 5 days. What was it?
Yeah.
4 days. Okay, yeah. That's a really quick 9A plus project. So I gotta ask, like, are you going back to Spain? Are you planning on any trips, any rock climbing trips after the Olympics?
I think after the Olympics, I think I'll go some workouts after. And after it, I think I'll go Spain again. And I want to try harder routes than La Rambla.
Okay, okay. Do you have any routes? Can you tell us if you have any projects in mind?
Now I'm just focusing on the competition, so I don't have any plans. But
Okay.
I think I want to try that attracts me.
Okay. And outdoors, what type of routes are you looking for to climb?
I prefer long and overhanging. Just, yeah, I prefer longer one than shorter one.
I climb a lot in Oliana, and it's really long routes.
Yeah.
You need a 100-meter rope. So if you want to go there, I can belay. Now I'll be terrified of actually short roping you, but yeah. So it has a couple of very long routes and hard ones too.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I usually watch people
maybe
climb.
Oliana is in my plan also.
Okay. Well, I'll be there. Not for real though. Do we have any other more questions from the audience?
Yes, we have one question from, let's call him Teribas Arnaud.
Okay.
Ideally, for how many years would you like to compete?
I can expect exactly, but I want to retire when I'm at the top. So yeah, I don't know exactly now.
Yeah, you're still young. You're still very young. And actually, besides climbing, do you have other interests? Because I mean, we saw you doing pretty much all types of climbing, even dry tooling and ice climbing. So, yeah, besides climbing, do you do anything else, or are you still studying?
I'm graduated from high school and not studying now, but I'm interested in studying also, and now when I have like rest time, I like to draw or sketch my climbing photos.
Okay, so maybe we're gonna get a climbing sketchbook. Just giving Black Diamond ideas here, you know? All right, cool. Do we have any other questions? What is this? Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you. I hope it's this one. It is. It's called This or That. So it's this or that. Bouldering or sport climbing?
Sport climbing.
Grit or granite?
I prefer granite.
Sparkly water or still water?
Sparkling water.
Finger strength or core strength?
Finger strength.
Yeah, I mean, because if you can hold on forever, like,
Yeah.
who needs a core? I agree. When I wrote that one down, I was like, finger. And then slabs or overhangs?
In bordering, I prefer slabs, but in lead, I prefer overhang.
I forgot to ask you questions earlier, actually, because during like a Boulder World Cup, like if you're not in semifinals or in finals, when you're looking at the competition, what are you thinking? Like, are you thinking like, oh, can I do these boulders or can I do these moves? Or just what's your, I guess, yeah, what are you thinking about while watching other competitors as well?
I just think about they're too strong now, and I want to try the borders, and yeah, I need to train harder. Like I always motivated by other athletes.
Who's your favorite climber?
From now is Yannick Ambret. I want to do her like to be more stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all look up to her. And something that you mentioned about the boulders, and for training, do you go back and like watch these comps, and do you go back and recreate some of these boulders? Like if you go back home and you go to the gym, do you ask the setters to recreate them or recreate certain moves, or you usually just train like holistically?
I just train on spray wall almost, but when we have national training camp, then they made to us the bouldering World Cups like boulders. So we train like every style on there.
Okay, but then you also train for dry tooling.
Sometimes.
Because yeah, like when was the last time you competed in dry tooling?
Maybe 2020.
Oh, okay. It's already been 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, time passes. All right, I got a couple of more questions, and then I'll let you go. Who's your climbing hero?
Jae Kim, because she opened our ways to be more like World Cups. So I always respect her.
And where's the best place to climb in the world?
For now, I think Spain is the best rock climbing area.
My boyfriend is actually from Catalonia, so I gotta say, especially Catalonia, it's good. I mean, you've got Margalef, Sirana, Onyana, like, yeah, it's a good place. And then one last question, do you have a summer project?
To be on the podium at the Olympics.
It's a solid answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you want to do one random last question? They're really random.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... This is really dragging it out. Also, this is part of the Olympic kit that you'll be wearing, I guess.
Yeah, I have.
Or you have it. You have it by now. Yes. Okay, go for it.
What's the...
Oh, okay. So really, what's the color of the submarine we're all living in? It's a Beatles song.
I don't know exactly.
You're wearing the socks. No, but it's Yellow Submarine. Not that there is a correct answer. Sorry. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, maybe it's a bit less random. I told you we should have done a Taylor Swift song. Oh, until when did you believe in Santa Claus?
Maybe when I was in elementary school.
Okay. What age?
Around 12.
Okay. You got a lot of presents then.
Just around me. I was the longest.
All right, awesome. Cool, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I forgot to ask for a selfie. to be honest. Okay, we'll do that later. I think that's a wrap, or do we keep on talking? I had a lot of circles here. I'm not too sure what it means. Hello, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen. No, but guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've got any last questions, we'll be doing this again tomorrow. So, I mean, you're behind a laptop, so it's not that scary to ask questions. I mean, not even in reality, but people tend to be scared if you go up to them out of nowhere asking questions, which is what we're kind of doing here at the World Cup. Anything? No. Okay, I'm cutting this. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Paris time, or Innsbruck time, or not London time, because that's -1 or +1. And no, it's -1. So long, London. Bye-bye.